Hello, this is a tutorial for how to begin the basics of your timeline. This lesson will include work slate, bars and tone, universal counting leader, as well as preparing your start time and the time code. So, this is how it should look at the end. We still don't have a time code here, but basically we want to start with a 5-second work slate, 5 seconds of bars and tone, 5 seconds of black, an 11-second counting leader, and our movie should begin at the 1 hour mark. Anything before the 1 hour mark is for other filmmakers and your post-production team. Typically, what we screen to the audience is starting at the 1 hour mark and before. If you've done this correctly, by pushing the left arrow key once, you should identify in the upper right-hand corner the cigarette burn, or the small white circle in the upper right corner. Alright, so this is what an overview should look like. I'm going to go through it rather fast, so please feel free to stop this recording as you need. So, first off, let us identify what your work slate should include. It should include the title of your show, the director, the editor, aspect ratio, frames per second, audio information, the cut number, the date, and finally the runtime. So, to begin, if I was starting a new project, what I would do is I go to File, New, Title. In some versions of Adobe Premiere, you might see Legacy Title, or you might use the Essential tools. Both are okay, but just bear in mind that you need to have a total black background with legible font. You don't want to make the font frilly, nor do you want to include colors, as that might get you in trouble with producers. So again, I go Title, and I'll call it my work slate. And I choose my black background. Right now you're seeing this information because it's on the timeline where my blue position indicator is located. So actually, you're seeing video on the timeline. That's what the title tool does by default. So if I click on if I click on the black background, now I have a total black slate to start from. And then I choose my type tool, and I can begin typing. So I'll start by typing title of whatever your show is. And if you have a different font, you can highlight the font and go up to here, and I just usually choose Arial or something very legible. Using your selection tool, you can also extend the borders to make this fit. So once you're done, at the very end, and I won't go into it all now, but you can see below what the information is right here and fill that out. Do that now, please, and pause recording. All right, now that you've filled it out, you can press X here, because the title tool doesn't save like a normal program. It's like a program within the program. So I just press X. And here's the work slate. So if I double click on it, I can enter it and I can begin making changes. I don't need to do that right now, but that's the basic gist. So what I will do is I'll go to File, New, Sequence, and I'll make 1080p, 24 frames per second, and this is my, today is 01/29/2018. That's today's sequence. So the first thing is, I would put my work slate on, and I'll just zoom into that. Okay, now the work slate by default might not be 5 seconds. So, as you can see, the duration is 6 seconds and 6 frames. I hover my icon over the clip, right-click, and go to Speed and Duration, and let's change that to an even 5 seconds. In editing, every frame counts, so this is something you have to pay attention to. It's not something we can rush. Organization and frame accuracy will go a long way to ensuring further employment. So, now that we've got the work slate done, let's do the next part, bars and tone, for 5 seconds. So to do that, I go File, New, Bars and Tone. HD bars and tone or bars and tone. This is a 16:9 project, so it's just speaking to the aspect ratio. HD bars and tone will be fine. Press OK. And here's my bars and tone. I take it and I put it onto the work slate. And I'll leave it there, and just to make sure that it snaps to position, I can right-click on the space that exists between the two clips and choose Ripple Delete, and it nudges it over. Now again, let's check the duration, which is 6 seconds and 6 frames. So again, speed and duration, and let's adjust this to an even 5 seconds. Oh, we didn't have that highlighted, so I'm going to click on the edge to enable my trim tool and hold down Shift so that it snaps to, and release. There, 5, 5. And now I want to have 5 seconds of black, so by holding Shift, I can snap my position indicator to the end of this clip. So now I'll type in 10 seconds and I'll change that to 15 and press enter. So now I'm at the 15-second mark. Excellent. So now I want to lay down my universal counting leader. To do that, I go File, New, Universal Counting Leader. Press OK. Be aware, don't change any of these settings. We don't want to have it to be any kind of different color. It's very, very important that this stays natural and neutral. So now, make sure that your cube lip is on too, and press OK. Drag it onto your timeline, and hold down Shift to make sure that it snaps to the 15-second mark. Excellent. Now we're getting into a little bit of the tough stuff. Now, we want our movie to start at the 1 hour mark. If we put 1 hour here, though, it will jump our position indicator ahead, so that's not what we can do. This is actually kind of a little bit tricky. You won't be able to change your start time with any of these menu options at the top. So, be aware that 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and 11 seconds gives us a total of 26 seconds. Now, we have to subtract that total from the 1 hour mark. And then we have to enter that value. Thus, I've had it prepared. This is our magic number, 00593400. Remember that number, 00593400. So, to input that value, I click here, find start time. Again, this is the menu where you find it. It won't be at the top menu. And write it in here, 005934 and 00 frames. Press OK. And now we have the set value input. Everything should line up. And if I press the left arrow key, yes, everything is on track and working so far. So now it's important that we put on our time code over the entire sequence. So to do so, we need to go to File, New, Transparent Video. And I'll click this, press OK. And then we take this transparent video and let's lay it over our track. Now we want to have it over all of the movie. So all the rest of the movie, the time code can exist over every single clip. You might need to bring this to another track later on, or so forth if you have multiple clips. Anyway, here's the transparent video, and by itself, nothing happens. But if we were to take the time code effect and to put it onto one clip, it would only exist for that one clip. So we need to put it over a clip that goes the entire duration of the show. So now that we have that clip, which is the transparent video, now we can feel free to find the effects panel. So in here, under the effects panel, and yours might be located somewhere differently. I'm working on a single screen right now, so this changes depending on your layout. Again, you can go into Window and choose Effects, or most times it's located in the same panel as your project panel. Type in time, and you should see timecode appear. Click on this icon, drag it over to the transparent video, and drop. Now, we're not done yet. There's still some tweaking to do, but you can see that it exists. Okay, so now with my clip selected and highlighted, I go to Effect Controls. I'll toggle up these so it's clearer viewing. Here's our timecode effect. I'll make the size a little bigger so it's very legible. Bear in mind that if you have subtitles, sometimes you might want to move the timecode to the upper left, or upper right, I mean. In this case, I'm just going to keep it centered and at the bottom, but that is the option that exists for you. So now, change the format, change the timecode source from media to generate. Okay, if we kept it at media, notice how this starting timecode is grayed out. This is why we have to change it to generate. We are going to generate our starting timecode, and again, we need that magic number, so let's type that in now. 005934. And now, the two numbers should correspond. And if they don't, if these numbers don't match up, I imagine either something is wrong with the timing of your transparent video. Either you might have this offset, I'll put that back, or you might have your sequence set to something other than 24 frames per second. Right here. This is a very common student error. Also, make sure that your time display is set at 24 frames per second. All right. And that is basically how you set up the beginning parameters for your sequence. Also, be aware that you can use the title tool to make further titles. Put that background to black. This could be whatever background you want it to be, but say for example you wanted it to roll, like an end credit roll. If I kept this as roll, I put it to start off screen and end off screen. Now no matter what happens, I can take that, go to my project panel, this new title I can put at the end of my movie, and when I press play, it starts and stops off screen. And if I make it longer, no matter what, it will always start off screen and end off screen. So all you have to do is trim it and Adobe Premiere will automatically adjust it. Alright, so that should answer most of the questions. Good luck with your assignments. End recording.